How I Put a Crack in My Cold Dead Heart, by User Master Protection 29. Yesterday I went to the arts and crafts store in search of picture frames. While I searched for a pre-cut natural white mat board in my desired size because the store was grotesquely understaffed and there was a line at the framing counter. I hear a woman ask another for assistance. She was wearing a shirt that matches the employee smocks. The reply was quick and almost rude. "I don't work here." And the woman grabbed her cart and walked away. I don't know why this attracted my attention. Maybe it was the desperation in the asker's voice, maybe it was store acoustics and funneled their voices to me, I really don't know. The woman who was looking for help stands for a moment before she uses a seeing impaired cane to walk towards me and in the main aisle. Me, "I don't work here, but can I try to help you?" She gives a huge sigh, smiles, "I need help finding yarn. I'm making a baby blanket and the colors needed are white or cream, yellow, pink and blue. And I can't see enough to pick them out." Me, "Well, I can definitely help you with that." Her, "Can you lend an arm? It's crowded here and I walk faster with a person leading." I laugh, "Well, speed isn't on my menu, I have a walking boot and crutches, if you want I can lead and you can follow, I unfortunately don't have an open arm." She apologizes and mentioned she'll find an employee and I insist it's not a problem and I've only seen one employee and they're at the framing counter with a line of people. We figured out all the logistics as we get to the yarn. We share names and I learned she had her vision until a pair of hands and a foot ago and that her husband dropped her off while he went to the hardware store. We get to the yarns and start by finding what feel of yarn she wanted and then I start describing the colors, barely pink, light salmon, cotton candy pink to banana skin yellow, and banana flesh yellow, and this is almost a orange pink. I was told I was describing the colors well and gathered the bundles. We finished our shopping together and even checked out one after the other and she insisted on buying me a chocolate bar as a thank you. Total grandma move there, right? Mama Sentia, I hope your great-grandbaby's blanket turns out wonderfully soft and as loving and sweet as you. I'm here to play, not to judge, by user Professor Vigda. Kind of a different angle for the I Don't Work Here standard. I used to be big into the collectible card game Magic, the Gathering, subsequently called MTG. I was super into it, had thousands of dollars invested in decks, and even became a mid-tier judge in the competitive scene. This is significant because I was often the highest level judge in the room at card shops unless I was at a larger convention. And I was happy to answer judge questions at the card shops I visited. I have since stopped being a judge and don't play nearly as much as I once did. One of the regular things in any MTG community is going out to your local game store on Fridays for Friday Night Magic, FNM. I would regularly attend before becoming a judge, but stopped when I became a higher level judge since I was often working tournaments in the weekends. This was before the pandemic and the decline of the competitive scene. But one Friday I hadn't played in a while and got the mind to relax and go enjoy FNM. Remember when I said I generally was happy to answer questions? Well, this night I attended. The on-staff judge that worked for the store saw/knew me and apparently decided they could take the night off. The first time someone called judge, nobody came. They yelled again, and nothing. They eventually went up to the front and asked for the judge. They soon came back to me and told me the store's staff judge said I would help them. Now, to be fair, I was the most knowledgeable judge in the room. But I really didn't want to. For one, it's not really the most ethical thing to have the judge be a player in the tournament. It happens at lower levels though. And for two, I wanted to relax. I wasn't there to work. Nevertheless, I obliged, not trying to be a stick in the mud. That said, during that round I had to get up and answer calls 3 more times. Now I loved being a judge. I really did. But this was not the night for me. I wanted to attend as a player. I was not an employee of the store and was not contracted to work that FNM. I decided to address the issue with the store judge in between rounds, but when I asked for him the worker told me he was busy sorting cards. Feeling a bit frustrated, I determined I was done with working on my night of fun. Before the second round got underway, rounds at this store were understood to start at the top of every hour. I politely informed the other players that I loved the community and loved being a judge, but that tonight I was here as a player, that I would not take judge calls the rest of the night. They all understood, and sure enough, in the first 5 minutes of the round, judge. Nothing. The person tried again, still nothing, and like the first person, went to the front to try and get the judge. They returned alone, and seemingly found a solution with their opponent. 5 minutes later, judge. And again they went to the front. This time however, the staff judge was following behind. Finally, I thought to myself. My relief was premature to say the least. The judge handled the player's issue and then, quite indignantly, approached me while I was still playing my game. Store judge, OP, why the heck aren't you taking these judge calls? Me, I'm not here to judge, I'm here to play FNM. Store judge, you're an L2, you're the most qualified judge here, though. Plus I was about to clock out early since I don't have to judge tonight. Me, I am the most knowledgeable, but as an L1 who I certified, you are more than capable of handling FNM level judge calls. As for your leaving early, I'm sorry you got confused, but I was never asked if I would judge this tournament. If you had asked me, I would have refused since I'm just here to play. I'm not going to judge this tournament. I just want to play some games and maybe win a pack or two of cards. Store judge, but I already made plans, can't you help me out this once? Me, I made plans too, I plan to play FNM and not judge. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not judging. Store judge, you're such a tool, OP. He left my table and proceeded to judge the rest of the tournament. I would like to say he realized he was out of line later and apologized. But that's not what happened. Quite the opposite. We were never on friendly terms again. He would speak to me for absolutely necessary things, like if I was checking out. But he never let go of that night I refused to do his job for him. Not military but right back at you, by userolishdelite72512. So I'm sorry this isn't quite along the lines of someone working in a store and encountering a Karen, but this happened to my husband and it was funny. He was walking out of CVS earlier today just as another dude was walking into the CVS. Dude saw my husband and immediately put his hand up to his brow and said the few. The proud. My husband was just like oh okay, and kept walking. Not sure why that guy did that considering my husband is not in the military and never has been. Also he was wearing a red O'Neill t-shirt and grey pants with a Toro Automation baseball hat. So who dude was saluting an O'Neill shirt? Why do I look like I'm a worker, by user global eyes? Could be what I was wearing, but multiple people in the past have also mistaken me as a worker even in normal clothing in a dress code place. Was actually at the mall with my so and were looking for a dress for a wedding we'll be helping with. So of course we stopped at all the stores inside. I was in the back of the store waiting for my so while he tried some clothes he was planning on switching out for the wedding. So as he takes a while I patiently wait right outside of the small dressing room, then I eye some on sale panties I like that are displayed a bit away from the dressing room, so I get out of the way from the entrance and start subtly sifting through them to see which designs I'd want. Keep in mind the workers are working in fashionable all black tight clothing, but I wore more bright natural colors in loose clothing and in a skirt. Some teenager girl walks near me then kinda shifts in place before I turn to her and smile as a oh hey there haha didn't mean to get in your way. She starts talking immediately though, oh can I use the dressing room please? Oh yeah you definitely can haha. I responded like this because I had assumed she knew I wasn't a worker and that she just wanted to make sure if you could just walk into an open stall. But based on my response and relaxed tone she made a face of pure embarrassment while gasping dramatically, her mouth just hung open as she stared unblinkingly at me. Oh my gosh you don't work. Then she blinked her eyes tightly and did an embarrassed wanting to die inside screech laughter fish gasping for air sound. She was literally hunched over and moving in slow mo as she laughed lol. She was even comfortable enough to even sloth clap her hand onto my shoulders and moving both of us around drunk like because she was so intoxicated with her embarrassment and laughter, all of that. Before saying in a very whispery raspy dried out laughter tone, here I thought you were a worker here haha. OFC I laugh with her. I could see how my clean natural look might confuse her while I stood next to the dressing room, maybe my panty hunt looked more like arranging the products. But after she wiped her laughter tears, apologized and went into the dressing room, and I told her it was fine and laughed back, my so eventually came out of the dressing room and told me he heard the entire thing lol. And we head on over to the next store. To which, in short, another lady mistaken me as a worker. In a dressing room. Tractor Supply Company, by user fabulous_mutual. I've got a wholesome I don't work here story for those who need a little happiness today. So the other day me and my dad were at Tractor Supply looking for a part for our tractor, obviously. The next aisle over we heard someone ask an employee where a grounding rod for an electric fence was and the employee said he didn't know cause he doesn't stock that item on the shelf. Then my dad walks over and tells them where the grounding rods are because we had to put up an electric fence ourselves. Edit the employee may have been new. I give full permission for anyone to use this story in a video because I want to hear it read on YouTube.